Hello everyone! Do you remember the good old days of NFTs? Something like, what, 2, 3, maybe even 4 whole weeks ago? Well, it seems like a long time because the NFT space moves pretty quick, and I remember when the news dropped that everyone was going to be rich from now on, all artists, regardless of skill level, are going to wake up, burn an NFT, and then just watch the ETH roll in. And within a few days, the whole place was flooded, and I was like everybody else, like a stampeding zombie in that movie with Brad Pitt, climbing on each other, just trying to get a piece of the NFT space. Um, Shamelessly, because we just thought that there was going to be big money in there, and there was a bit of a gold rush. Well, I just wanted to share my horrible, horrible experience and to tell everybody why it's probably not a good idea to get involved yet. So this is something that you're likely to see if you try to burn an NFT. It will be sitting there for several hours, if not several days, and it may even not go through at all. This is going to be a little bit boring, I think, but I think useful. I've got lots of boring bits of the story of how I went through burning my NFT and how horrible it was. It was pure hell. And a few people have been hitting me up saying, "Hey, could you, a few other artists, could you walk me through the process and how to burn an NFT?" And I'm like, guys, I just wouldn't do it. So I thought I'd make this video just to explain sort of what I did. Okay, so I started out foolishly. I sunk in like 2 or 3 weeks into a personal project that I thought I was going to list. And that project is... I made these guys and I wanted to put them on my foundation site thing, profile, whatever, account. So I spent ages making those, and then I realised that maybe they weren't gonna sell. So I decided to put up this piece instead, and I thought this is perhaps more likely to sell, and then with the proceeds of this I'll list the other ones and I'll get some momentum going. Well, it didn't quite work out that way. So here's what I did. First of all, of course, you need a foundation invite, and that took ages. Well, not ages. No, to be honest, it didn't. It felt like ages because it was like, how do I get on there? Emailing around, going on Twitter every day, looking for offers for invites, and posting my work. And I'm sure, as you know, there's a lot of work out there that's not very good, so I kind of had with my experience in the industry, I've got a bit of a leg up there. So it wasn't too long before somebody saw my work and offered me an invite, and I was so pleased. I was so made up. So yeah, I was invited by Design by Jake, so he was kind enough to give me the invite, and he's sold a few pieces. And so I got my invite, logged on, set up my account, connected my, what do they call it, MetaMask wallet, hooked that up, put $100 into it, thinking, oh, the fees will be about 60, 70, something like that, to mint it. And then I wasn't quite sure how it would go. I thought maybe then it just gets listed and then you pay at some point. Anyway, sorry, this is going to get boring, but just like, if you want to know about how crappy this process is, you'll have to bear with me. So plus I have to try and remember it because it was a few weeks ago. So I minted my first piece, and it just, like I say, just sits there, just saying that this NFT is burning. And you think, ahead of time, you think, I'm going to click on the mint button and it's going to go bing, your NFT is burned. But no, you see what happens is it gets sent out to the Ethereum network to be tokenized. And what's interesting that I didn't know and that you should be aware of is there are things called gas fees. I'm sure most of you know that whenever you... But gas fees aren't like, oh, I'm going to mint my thing and it's going to charge me. Gas fees are for every single transaction that you do on the Ethereum blockchain, and the how depending on how much you pay is how much of a priority you get on the queue. So for mine, I noticed that when I clicked you're going to be charged something like $70 to mint this. Do you accept? And there's a little thing that you can click on just before you accept it, where you can choose a slower, cheaper process. And I was like, yeah, I'm not in any hurry. I can wait a couple of hours. Well, no. So I think I maybe shaved a few dollars off the cost. It then proceeded to take. I'm trying to think now. I think it was all day. I think I listed it maybe in the morning, and it wasn't until that evening that it was minted, and that is not the slowest that it could be. So I see that it's minted, and I'm like, right, fantastic. And then I go to list, realize that I don't have enough money in my wallet because it's going to cost another $60 to mint to list. So I reject the $60 because I don't have it, and then I go to top up my wallet. Then I click to list it. Again, this is going to get boring. So then I go to list it, and I notice there's two. As you can see, there's two copies. And I'm like, what's going on? Because the whole premise of this whole thing, the foundation thing, is that you list one of one. They don't do like other sites. You can have multiples and limited edition, whatever, 1 of 10. And why is there two going up? And I was like panicked. I was absolutely like, oh my god, why is there two? I don't understand. So I thought, why don't I've got two, and when you're logged in and you go to your dashboard, you can choose to either burn or transfer. And I was like, well, why don't I take one, transfer it to my own wallet as though I've got my own copy, just to get rid of it. I'll figure out what to do with it later. And the reason why I did that was because the burn fee was quite expensive. I've already spent about $130 at this stage, and the burn fee was, at this stage, it was about $25, and the transfer fee was about $12. So I click transfer, and then you got to sit and wait and wait and wait, and then eventually I noticed that both copies went into my wallet, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Now I've got both copies. What do I do? So then I start hitting up the support team at Foundation, which took me ages to figure out that there was such a thing. I was going on their Discord, and it's just, you know what Discord is like. You post a question, you're like, my life is ending, what do I do? And then nobody listens and nobody responds. And eventually somebody did, and they said, why don't you go on their support page and contact them? So I did. They've got like somewhere, and I can't even remember where it is, but if you find their frequently asked questions section or something like that, there is a little chat box over to the right, and you can actually chat with them. So I did that, and I have like a copy of the log here. So yeah, so like first of all I hit them up. Hi there, I'm having some major issues to list an item. I could really use some help. And then they tell you they'll get back to you within 3 hours. So and then so within 40 minutes, how can I help? And I wasn't sure whether it was a bot or not, so I just questioned whether they were live. They were live, so I was like, okay, so here's my issue. I minted a piece, I chose the slow option after about 5 hours, and that's the thing, it just kept on saying the status was dropped. So I didn't know what that meant, and that was scary. So it ended up coming, listing, realised that I needed to add funds, so it goes live, and I realised it's two, and I didn't know what to do. I panicked because it's live, so I transferred one to my wallet. Well, they both transferred. So then she gets back to me, fine, I'll have a look, cool. And then 15 minutes later, I'm like, any luck? Because when you're chatting to somebody live, you usually expect an answer within 5 minutes. So like, about 15 minutes later, I was like, any luck? And then she said, did you transfer them to my wallet? Yes, I have the transactions. They're listed in each section, list all the transactions, and the status of each one, which is where it drop or it's cancelled or something like that. So then I give a link to my foundation, then in the phone there's nothing, it's resolved, and she says, oh, these lists are already burn one, right? And I'm like, well, I do that, it's more expensive, and I really want to pay money, and so, we still get nowhere. So like, these things I do that, because it's still starting to all day. So anyway, it goes on and on and on like that. So eventually I realised, and this is what I wanted to share, was that in my my MetaMask wallet I had some transactions, but you have to. Okay, so here's my MetaMask wallet, and what you do is, I was saying something here about pending, and I was like, what do you mean pending contracts? I thought, I didn't know that anything was pending. So you click on here, and if you go to expand view, it gives you way more details about what's happening. And what was happening was, see, I'm trying to think of what the status was. I was trying to, the burning, I was in the middle of trying to burn one, and it wasn't going through, nothing was happening. And I thought it had just dropped or was cancelled, and tech support was starting to ignore me. And I had I noticed that it wasn't until I clicked the expand view, I had 4 pending transactions, which if you added them all up, added to more than was in my wallet. So I added some funds to my wallet, and it instantly cleared one of them, which was the listing fee, which I'd already paid. Now bear in mind, so I paid about $60-something to list, about $70 to mint, and then about $70 to list, something like that. It's a similar amount each. The listing somehow balked because it duplicated it, and I had to transfer one, but it transferred both, and so the listing was no longer live. So there was a second listing that was somehow pending. So when I put money in the wallet, that went through. The item was then listed live, and so now one item is live and one item isn't. And then I had some burns that were in process, and I thought, right, well, why don't I cancel those? Because I don't know whether it's now going to burn the live one. So, because I can't tell the difference between which one's which. So, so one of them. So now we're up to where we are today. All of those pending transactions resolved. I cancelled whichever ones I didn't need. Each cancellation, by the way, cost money, because every transaction costs money. And here we are today with this, which is live, and this, which isn't. And if I go to, so this is my dashboard, and so I have this one live and this one, which is giving me the option to list. And if I click burn, you'll see then it comes up as $27, which is actually reasonably cheap, so I might take that. Yeah, let's just get rid of it. Let's just see what happens. And now what you'll do is you'll see this NFT is being burned, and it will just sit there for up to days, because a burn is such a low fee, especially because I've chosen a cheaper one. So then all you can do is just go back to your account and just wait, and then let's just see, saying burning NFT MetaMask. If I yeah, that's coming up as a pending burn now, and if you want to spend even more money, you can speed it up. But by now I am I'm about $200 out, and it would be fine. This is reserved for 0.5 ETH, which comes to almost $1,000. If you consider that it takes like at least a week to make something like this, then to me that's just how, and I've already lost 200, so that's going to be like 800. But then it's not over yet, guys, because so let's just say I sell this for 1,000. So that's 800 left. Foundation takes about 20 to 30%. Then, of course, then you end up with some ETH in your wallet. Well, not in your wallet, you end up with it in your account. You've got to transfer that out of your account. And what do you think it's going to do then? It's going to charge you more ETH to transfer it out of your account. So by the time I'm done, I'll probably end up with, if I sell it, which I don't think I will, because nobody's seeing it, it's live, and nobody's gonna look on it. Then I'll end up with maybe 500 and something out of the 1,000. So, and do you honestly think now you could say, oh, that would be alright? Well, I don't think it's going to sell. And there's no way in hell that I'm going to pay more to go through all of that again per listing. To me, the whole system is screwed. But the sort of ray of hope is that so the Ethereum blockchain is going to move to Ethereum 2.0 in sometime in the summer after July, where the gas fees will be a lot cheaper, probably in the few dollars range. And Uniswap, which is another blockchain, I don't quite know the details of how it all works, but Uniswap is another blockchain that uses the Ethereum network, and that's going to transition to Uniswap version 3, which is also going to mean that the gas fees will be super cheap. So I really strongly advise that everybody just holds out and waits until those fees come down, because you do not want to have to go through this. It is absolutely ridiculous that everything that you do costs money, and there is a reasonable likelihood of it failing. I've got a few examples here of me saying on the Discord, I've been stressing about this for 8 hours. I've been on chat. And I think I was mentioning that it duplicated. Somebody said similar issues here. This guy's English isn't great, so I'm going to have to translate it a bit. I went to mint and list an item, and it tried to double charge me, so I cancelled. But now it's only minted 1 when I wanted to do 2 at once. So this guy had his fees just eaten up because he paid for 2 and only got 1. Somebody else said they know somebody who's had the same issue. And then I know another artist, I think it was Paul Gerard, who had the same issue, had a failed transaction, cost him a few hundred. And then you post, when you're struggling, you post on the Ethereum Reddit, and here's me posting, no comments, no response. And then I go onto the NFT Reddit. Has anyone got an experience with duplicating during minting and why it happens? No response. You don't have any tech support or customer support that you can contact and say, I've lost 70. Where in the world can you lose $70 and have no recourse at all? So, yeah, I would stay away from this space for the time being. Sorry, this has been a bit of a long ramble, but I've just got to get that info out there while it's semi-fresh in my head. Yeah, so maybe we'll come back to this and revisit it in the future and see where the space goes. I think there's potential in the future for, if it costs nothing much to list and it goes through quickly, and they have some websites that target like people in the fantasy art genre, so you're not just mixed in with everybody else and getting lost in the crowd, targeted niche art spaces, then I think we'll be talking potential for having a decent side income from this whole NFT space. Until then, stay the fuck away. Peace out. Like and subscribe. Love you. Bye.